Hi, I'm Raven Lunis and I'm a musician from Brazil. And I've decided to create this new type of video here in the channel, kind of a podcast thing. I don't know what this is going to become in the future, but I wanted this so I could speak a bit about my journey as a musician and an artist. I've been wanting to do this for a long time, but I didn't know where to start, so I just started thinking about anything that I would like to talk about, and I decided to start right here. So in this first video, I decided to talk about how I start writing songs. Because since I was a little kid, when I was obsessed with the Beatles, like I think it was when Paul McCartney came to Brazil for the first time, they would show all these TV shows on TV. And one day my mom was watching one, but I was supposed to be asleep. And I kind of hid behind the couch to watch a little bit of a TV show. And I was like obsessed after that, especially with John Lennon. And so that's, I think, one of the reasons why I was so focused on writing lyrics first. Like for many years of my life, I focused on writing lyrics, writing in general, but writing lyrics were a very therapeutic way for me to deal with the stuff that was going on in my life. Still is, but it was way more back when. So at first, it took me a while after I was obsessed with the Beatles. I think the first time I started really writing lyrics, like knowing that those were the lyrics for supposed song, was when I was 12. But the lyrics were really kind of boring and like kind of stupid. I don't know. And it never became a song. And anyway, I kept doing that, but they would never transform into songs. I didn't know how to do that. And I was already learning how to play the acoustic guitar, not when I was 9, but when I was 11 I started. I think like the Beatles helped me out with a lot of stuff, especially music and English. So those were the two the Beatles were really intense influence over me. And translation too, because I remember trying to translate Beatles songs when I was 10. And I didn't even know many words in English. I don't even know. I would just like get the dictionary and like that was my game. Like my brother would want to play with Lego, and I was like, no, I'm gonna finish translating this song. Like, leave me alone. I don't know. I was a weird kid. Anyway, so I was really into the lyrics since the beginning, like wanting to translate them, wanting to understand them and all this, because I really wanted to understand those songs because they made me feel so good, and I wanted to know what they were saying in those songs. So I was really into finding out what the lyrics were about. And afterwards I was really obsessed with other songs from the 60s and the 50s, and I really enjoyed the melody and how the lyrics would complement the melody. And I didn't understand what they were saying, but the songs were really good, and I just wanted to do the same. So I was like obsessed with lyric writing, but I didn't really know how to put them into melodies or like whole songs. I think that because of the Beatles, I wanted to start playing. So I started to learn the acoustic guitar when I was like, I don't know if it was 12. I think maybe 12. No, not 12. 11. I don't remember if it was like right before I turned 11. I think it was like maybe at the end of the year, because my birthday is in January, so I probably like in November, December, I don't know. Maybe it was that. And I just kept in my head that it was 11. And I remember saying to my teacher, he wanted me to learn how to read music, and I didn't want that. I was like, I don't want that. I want to play the Beatles. And he was really cool. He tried to, and I appreciate that. He tried in his way, and he got to teach me some of music theory mixed with Beatles. So I enjoyed it. I still have my first notebook from that era, and I still go there to repeat some of the first exercises that he did that now is so freaking easy for me to do. And I just remember how impossible they were for me when I was starting to learn. I like doing that because I have to be reminded that I can learn new things, that it's like it feels extremely difficult at first, but after the first 1-2 years, if you keep at it, if you really practice whatever it is that you're learning. Like, I love languages. I'm now learning for like 2 years now. I'm learning Mandarin, and I really enjoy it. It is not easy, but it is not as hard as I thought it would be. So that's one of the things that I like doing, that I like reminding myself where I was at first. Like today earlier, I was trying to play some of the first piano exercises that my other teacher gave me, and I kind of had my notebook and her writings on it. I was like, oh, remember that day that I didn't even know how to do this? I don't know how to play the piano still, but I do know way more than I did when I started. So I kind of know some things that I can like pretend that I know a bit. But there was a time that I didn't know at all. And before that, my other cousin, he used to play the piano. He was learning the piano when he was little. And I remember that he was really patient with me, and he was trying to show me the basic chords, and it got into my head and I never forgot. So I just told my teacher when I started learning the piano, I know these chords. It was like, yeah, okay, you don't know the chords, you just know the positions. You don't really know how to say I knew the C chord and the A chord, but the other ones I was like, I don't know, I just know how it sounds. But it was a beginning. Now I know way more. Then afterwards I studied music theory, not a lot, but enough to make me to at least know what I'm doing when I'm doing it. I don't know everything, but I know a lot now. So it's really something that I'm grateful that like my teacher when I was 11 tried to put into my mind. So when I started learning to play the acoustic guitar, I started to try to create songs, but I was extremely frustrated that it never was a good thing for me. It always sucked. And by the time I was like 15 or 16, I started learning. I went to a music school to learn to play the electric guitar. I wanted to do the solo things, the riffs and everything, because I was listening to the Smashing Pumpkins, Blur, Alanis Morissette, and Pearl Jam, all those bands that were really hyped up at the time, like it was 95, 96. And I really, really, really wanted to play like them because I knew that the guitar, if I could sound like them, then I could like write songs like them. But it doesn't really work like that. But that's what I thought. And I think by that time, because of my teacher, probably, because he would explain some music theory in a way that it was like kind of fun, I started trying to fit those lyrics into some kind of melody. I couldn't yet, but at least by that time forward, my lyrics were all rhythmic. So I really like was writing unconsciously, thinking about the rhythm of the words. So it was already more like a songwriting thing, whereas before it was just like me having fun or trying to express myself through lyrics. So most of my songwriting years was like that. It started like that, and then it was evolving, and it was easier and easier for me to transform words into songs, into melodies and into songs. At first, I would just pick some chords and start like singing the lyrics over the chords. So I was like singing whatever it came to my mind, and I would like close the song and was, oh, okay, that's the song. But the thing is that I would never, ever remember the song. So I started recording it because I was like, I don't remember any of those stupid melodies that I'm writing from the top of my head. I don't remember because they're not catchy. They're just like random. I remember it was really frustrating because I was like, I can't do this. It's really difficult. I'm horrible at this. And it was like gut-wrenching at times. But then I would not give up. I would persist and persist and persist. I still have the tapes that I started recording when I was 16, if I'm not mistaken. I used to like go tapes and tapes and tapes and tapes and many, many, many hundreds of tapes of me singing like cover songs, but a lot of those whatever songs that I was writing, like trying those lyrics that I really like. Some of the lyrics that I wrote back then, I really like until today. Sometimes I feel like doing something with them, not like transforming them into songs because I don't feel like that anymore. It doesn't connect to me, but I don't know, maybe it's something else. Anyway, and I would just write a bunch of random songs with random whatever melodic lines, and some of them after a while would start to go into my brain, and I would like out of nowhere kind of start singing them, and I was like, okay, that song is onto something. So I would like just cherry pick 1, 2 and just remember them when, like, later on when I was in my first band, when I was 20, I was like, oh, there was that song. And I started trying to work on them. Most of them didn't work, but 2 of them did. But the 2 of them that did, yeah, I now remembering, those songs didn't kind of work. It worked for me, but not for the band. The songs that worked for the band, I wrote when I was 21. When I was kind of 21, something clicked. I started knowing how to write catchy melodies. And it wasn't like me that was saying that. Some people from the band, but other people from outside the band would just start randomly singing those songs. So I don't know what happened. When I was 21, I started writing bubblegum lyrics, and I was just follow that. But it was still me writing lyrics and then the melodies. But now my brain just like started knowing which melodies I was supposed to put into those lyrics. I don't know where it came from, but it was really easy. It became really easy. And after a while doing that and being really good at that, like in my stage in life as a musician, not like, oh, I'm a genius. No, just in my stage of life in comparison to other people that would do music near me, I was really good at that. People would tell me that too. I started to think that those songs were really the same. And it kind of annoyed me because I was like at a plateau that was like, okay, I've already written that song. All those songs are starting to sound the same. How do I get out of that? Because I'm not gonna stop writing songs. I need to write songs to deal with my depression, to deal with my fucked up life. And the music was always my savior in one way or the other, especially by giving me a place to express myself. So I needed to start doing something to make me feel creative again. And I don't know when I started doing that. First, I started to be a little more vulnerable in the lyrics. It wasn't that much of a game anymore, that I used to really write lyrics as a game. I would go to the dictionary. I would do a lot of crazy games with myself to create the most bizarre lyrics, and then I would go over them again and like try to build them so they could like sound like something more human. But I used to love to do that, and even with my cousins I would do that, like you put a word here and I put a word here, and we trade, and then at the end we're gonna like have a Frankenstein kind of lyrics, and I would love that. That was the way that I would write. So I kind of became more and more vulnerable in my writing, and I think the melodies became part of the lyrics, so they would go together. The lyrics would say something and the melodies would sound like they were saying something, the same thing. And it was just kind of evolving by itself. I didn't do anything to do that. I was just like writing forever, writing and writing and writing. I didn't stop writing. So I was just like a natural development. But when I reached that plateau, it was like, what do I do? So I stopped. There was a time that I stopped writing, and I've like through those 2-3 years that I didn't write, probably I wrote but like 1 or 2 songs that I didn't really like. But during that time, like in my point of view, horrible things happened to me emotionally, and it came to a point that I was really depressed because of those situations, and I really needed to put this into music. And I just remember, I still remember those days. I just remember that I just let myself be surrounded by those feelings, even though they were really uncomfortable and really extremely hurtful. But I don't know how to explain it better than this. It was kind of like I was sitting with those feelings and trying to listen to them and trying to put whatever they were saying to me into words. And as soon as I put those words in the paper, the melodies would come together. So there was this time when I was 2015. That was a pivotal year for me, because it was like many of the songs that I wrote there, Denied from my band, Noisy, Lone Wolf from my solo, the other Lone Wolf, Limbo, Lone Wolf, the first one I wrote. There was another one that I'm not remembering right now. But all those songs are really, they marked a moment in my life. They still do. Whenever I play them, whenever I listen to them, to the demos that I did and everything, they still remind me. I know exactly how I was feeling and why I was feeling like that. And not just they don't like remember the exact thing that happened to make me feel like that. They do remind me of the time that I sat with those feelings so I could write about that. And it's not a bad thing. I used to think that it was a bad thing, but it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing, because it was kind of cathartic. So I think that was the time that it changed, that I really felt like the melodies, they were the one that, like, the lyrics were really intense, but if it wasn't the melodies, maybe the lyrics would just sound whiny or something like that. But matched with the melodies that would just come to me as I was writing, it became something special to me, and eventually to other people who would listen to the songs. I'm just like looking at it now and remembering how I came to this point, because right now I'm right at the opposite of what I used to be. I now have really difficulty writing lyrics. I don't think they are good enough. I have to do games again so I can have good ideas for lyrics. And when intense or not so good stuff happens in my life, I don't feel like writing them anymore. I just want them to be forgotten. I don't want them to be forever in a page, especially with melodies on them. So I kind of am maybe self-sabotaging doing that. So on my next project, I'm going to do consciously the opposite. I'm gonna force myself to sit with the feelings that I'm trying to run away from. And I hope that I can write lyrics that I can connect to again, because I need those now. So right now I'm at this impasse that I don't know, not that I don't know how to write lyrics. I know how to write lyrics. I've written many lyrics to my first album. There were some lyrics that I had written before, but I've written new ones in 2022, 23. But I don't connect emotionally to them as well as I did with the other ones from 2015. And even the ones that I wrote in the middle of the pandemic, they were really good lyrics back then and songs that I enjoyed making. But after that, like 2022 onwards, I was just like, where is my mind? I don't know how to write anymore. So to me, it's really easy right now to write melodies and harmony and the structure, and really difficult to write lyrics that I relate to, that I relate as the ones that I did way back when. So now I'm gonna have to do the other stuff. Anyway, I've been like half an hour talking about how I start writing songs. That's because I wanted to share some of my ways of writing, because there isn't one way. And I've recently watched an interview with Tori Amos on Rick Beato channel, and she was kind of saying that she believes that the muses, that the fairies send the songs to her. She's only interpreting them, or just like being a vessel for them. I understand what she's saying, because there was some songs that were like that, like Lone Wolf Limbo. It was one of those songs that I just sat and in that feeling and with my acoustic guitar, and it just came out of me. Like the lyrics and the song, I hadn't start the lyrics would start to come out from me with the melodies while I was like doing whatever on the acoustic guitar. So it was really magical in that way. And there were definitely other moments in my life of songs that just came to me out of nowhere. But most of my songs didn't come like that. It come like as an exercise, or trying to express myself in a way or other, or just like doing exercises and like, oh, I like this. Oh, let's see what this can do. Whatever. So there isn't just one way. And I really don't enjoy when people say, oh, no, songs is just like they come to me out of nowhere. I don't know how to explain it. No, honey. No, it's not like that. Yes, there are those songs, but it's not always like that. And yes, those songs that you consciously write can be great as those songs that just come to you. I think that's the thing that I want to leave you with, because there is no right way of writing a song. I think it's just our feeling, and we comparing ourselves to ourselves. That's the best way to go, because when I was comparing myself to the Beatles, why? No, I shouldn't do that ever. But when I was a kid, I was that megalomaniac. So I still am, but I was worse. So I was trying to compare myself to them and say, no, I'm never gonna learn how to do that. I'm horrible. Oh my God, stop. Don't compare yourself to anyone, especially the Beatles. Do not compare yourself. Anyway, I think the best way to think about it is, are you glad with the way you're expressing yourself? Are you feeling good with the art that you're making? Because I'm here speaking about songs, but I also draw, I also paint, I also take pictures. I like expressing myself in many different ways. So it's not just about music. Whatever type of creative thing that you're doing, are you happy with the way that you're expressing yourself? Because this is the most important thing. And if you're happy and the results are good enough for you, then that's special. Even though the next day you say, no, okay, but I don't really want to do anything with this song. I'm gonna write another one. Okay, but that song served a purpose. That song was there so you could go to the next song, and because you went through the song before that and learned something. And so the next song is not gonna be like the first one. It's gonna be something on top of that one, and so on and so forth. So I think I'm remembering something that Phineas said in an interview. He wanted to learn how to mix and master like the gods of mixing and mastering. and he went to a mixing engineer and teach me how to mix and master like the pros. And the guy was like, there's no right way of mixing or mastering. If it feels good or sounds good for you, go with that. Because there will always be someone to criticize and to say it's not good enough. But if to you it's good enough, then you won't care whatever that other person thinks or not. But if it's not good enough for you, if you're doing a song or you're making a song or another type of art that you're trying to make so that you can get into something or impress someone specifically, or like you're doing your art because of someone else. It's not because you want to do it. It's not because you want to make it. It's not a part of yourself. It's not something you want to say or express. If it's about impressing someone else or wanting someone else to do something for you, forget it. Like, to me, don't do it. Don't make that, please. You will impress the people that will resonate with your art. It doesn't matter if it's not that person specifically that you want, but you will impress some other people. And that's okay. I hear many artists today saying your art is not supposed to be enjoyable to everyone or to be liked by everyone. It's your expression. As a person, you are not a person who will be liked and enjoyed by everyone, and that's okay. So I think I want to leave this video with this message. Just do whatever you want to do. If you want to do something extremely weird, like I used to do, like writing lyrics based on random words in a dictionary, go for it. If you enjoy it, if you think you're expressing yourself the way you want it to, go for it. Just start writing, because the video is about specifically writing songs. So just start writing. Write as much as you can and explore as much as you can. Many different ways. And well, maybe in the future I'm gonna share here some of the things specifically that I do, because I don't remember them all in this conversational way that I'm doing this. But I'm gonna write it down as I remember it, and then maybe in a future video I'm gonna share them here, so maybe it will help some of you. Anyway, thanks for listening to my rant. Anyway, I just want to share my thoughts on artistic and creative things and music and art here in the channel, and I hope you stick around. And if you like the video and the conversation, please leave a like and maybe a comment. Tell me how do you start writing your songs? Please, I really enjoy speaking to other people about this. I really would like to know how you write your own songs, because maybe you're gonna help me write the next lyrics to my next project. Anyway, thank you for watching this video up to the end, and see you in the next video. Bye.